G'day, Stalls.
G'day, Strat. G'day, TH.
Hello, mate.
We are here.
Here for a little chat leading into the reunion and heritage round this year. 20-year reunion for the
2004 side and 30-year reunion.
for the 94-95 undefeated Clayton's Cup winning sides.
We might start with a couple of
Personal memories. Funniest time.
teammate from those times. I'll start with you, Troy.
Funniest teammate. You're going to have to come back to me for that one. I'll have to think about that one.
Strat.
I got one. Kyle Simon, I think. Killer.
Killer.
Yeah. Always a great player. Tough as nails, but always a great bloke to have a beer with, and could never understand a word he said after he had 3 beers, but it was still always a fun night with Killer. Yeah. Good bloke.
Stalls.
Same as Troy. I'll probably have to come back to that one.
I'd probably go with Munko.
David?
Always the life of the party.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
Is he around?
Does his ass hit the ground?
Yeah.
There, Monk there.
I don't think there ever is a serious side to Munko, even when we played footy. Did you really see him get serious?
No.
Nah. He was,
Everyone
he
he
was a
tackled
good
you,
footballer, mate.
Yeah.
He's just natural.
He actually tackled me in a game. Playing on the same team, he tackled me.
Moving along to
Post games. Mad Mondays. We'll get straight into the fun stuff. Any funny
any memories or bad
bad stories, good stories from Mad Mondays?
Mad Mondays back then, they were nothing like they are now.
no
Straight
mobile
to the pub,
phones?
straight on the Kings,
They were pretty mad.
and
What was the tradition?
Back in the day for the Hawks when there was a Mad Monday on.
We didn't get dressed up in the early days.
Yeah,
No, we just used
worry
to-
about dress up. Just
No.
get together for a beer.
Big. Used to come here to the belly.
Yeah.
be here
Yeah.
for breakfast, and then, like I said, Kings would be
Come
straight
out.
on. And if you don't know what Kings is first king picks a spirit, second king picks a spirit, third king
Pays for it.
pays for it, and the last king had to drink it.
Drink it. Yeah.
And
I remember one
by the
bloke
time
here.
Kings was over,
Pretty regal.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a stitch up here and there.
There was one bloke, I remember one year he spewed and his false teeth fell out into the dunny. Oh, that was
Strat, 94, 95.
5. You were fortunate to be the captain of a undefeated premiership.
Winning run.
Yep.
2 years in a row, didn't drop a game.
Yeah.
Different times,
Times back then, no mobile phones.
but,
No.
and probably not as many things on for people in there.
Instructions.
in their life. So it was a simpler time.
Yeah.
But
Enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. Great times, yeah. It's more like a religion back then. Yeah, everyone played footy and everyone loved it. It was, really good. Pretty lucky to come through. I'd been with about probably 5 or 6 mates that had come through from the under-18s and all went into first grade, but then we also had a few blokes that were pretty strong first graders like Toddy Mathers and things like that, blokes like that. So, and then had a few young blokes like Troy and brother Scott come through. So we had a good side of bloody both youth and experience, I think. So, and obviously having a great coach in Dennis Tutty. So that was a catalyst of having pretty successful couple of years. And I think like we still, all through the years that I played, I was pretty lucky. We all had good players, but just having Dennis Tutty as a coach, playing under some good coaches like Tony Clifton and Kevin Morgan, but Tut was just that step above, being from a lot of experience through Sydney.
Yep.
If he had a coach just a fair few more years, we would have won even more comps, I think. But yeah, great time.
Training back then, 94, 95. What was
Yeah.
the regime?
during the week,
It was pretty hard. Tut said from the start, like it's going to be hard training. He said we had no disillusions it was going to be, and he used to run us. But then after that, we'd all come back to the pub, have a beer, and have a bet on the dogs with 20-cent pieces and stuff like that. And Tut was involved in that whole thing with us as well. He was good because he could sort of split being a hard coach, but also then having a bit of fun with the boys as well.
Yep.
So, but that back then, I feel sorry for some of the young blokes these days where I don't feel like the clubs. I shouldn't say because I'm not too involved in clubs, but it was just everyone was in together back then.
Yep.
It was really good from the 18s, first reserves, and everyone used to mix together and have a really good time. So
No
Yeah.
mobile phones either. No
No.
incriminating evidence.
no,
We
but
were angels, mate.
Yeah.
Actually, I was a baby, so
you were, weren't you, back then?
I wasn't
any
allowed in the pub.
any fires back then?
Any pubs or
No.
dressing sheds or anything like
Like that get burnt down back in the day?
Actually, yeah, 94 after we won. That was the last year that we played at Beach Street. Yeah, so the sheds were going to be demolished. So
Farewell.
we had a bit of fire then, a bit of fun. Used to pull the old asbestos gutter off and set fire to it, and explosions going off everywhere. So
Not real
that was a
good
bit
for
of
the
fun.
others.
Just helping out the council.
Helping council clean up.
Yeah.
and
Early years of your time at the Hawks in those good
undefeated seasons. Thursday nights after training was it
just training back to the pub and then home, or
Yeah, no, we'd sometimes hang around. Sometimes have a barbie and stuff like that. And
any
even,
night
clubs or anything involved?
yeah, even sometimes in the earlier days, they'd sometimes have bands at the Leagues Club. So you go back there, or even the old Ant Ranch,
Yeah.
which a few of these two, I think, became life members of from their days there. So they were good days because, yeah, sort of back then you played hard and played hard after footy too, so it was good.
Very good.
good, and obviously the community support.
Not as many choices for the community to get a bit of a
Day out.
Yeah, for sponsorship and that. Yeah, so yeah, crowds were usually pretty good, yeah, which was good. Yeah.
2004 stalls and
2H. We started the year with a pre-season camp.
went out down south. All players, it was compulsory
For the senior grades. Captain, coach,
David Chubbsy Elliott and reserve grade captain coach Brad Gabrielafelt.
took us down south. Good times.
Was there a lot of training involved? Or?
Oh yeah, we trained. It was all about the training.
Actually, I'll have to disagree with that, Troy, because actually, wow, man, he used to cook the barbecues at a bit of a camp oven. We came down and cooked for you, and there wasn't much training going on.
No, we would. It was just a get together to start the year, and anyone that basically wanted to play footy would come out. You'd have your regulars. We'd get the old fellas out, Hilly and Raymond. Raymond always cooks up a magic feed out at the anytime we got camping and we need a cook. Raymond's he'll do anything to get those pots and pans out.
Yeah.
Mate,
Still loves
and the feed's sensational. So
Couple of new blokes in the club that year.
First time camping?
a lot of interesting people rocked up this year. Where there was a guy there that rocked up. No one sort of we didn't know him too well. Well, actually, I didn't know him at all. So it was the first time we'd seen him, and said he wasn't a drinker. Ended up obviously getting on the drink, and if you know Ray Hill brings out, and he's all got all sorts of toys. He's got all spoons, he's got rabbit traps, he's got all these things, stock whips, yeah. And Raymond loved to get these out and play around. And this one guy this time thought it'd be a good idea to pull out his old Johnson and put it in the rabbit trap and set it off.
Not a good idea at the end.
No. I don't know why, but after that, he didn't end up playing. No, he didn't play.
He had a squeaky voice, though.
Squeaky voice. He had a good conversation at the end of the night with Ciro, so...
Zero quietened him down, there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ciro, one of the more
Intimidating characters that the Hawks ever had. He'll hopefully
be here on the weekend.
He'll be
Good
here.
fella to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Great fella.
be in the same team as. Always felt a hell of a lot safer.
When looked across and saw Ciro getting ready to run out.
Sometimes even felt safer before the game.
He'd walk over to the other team warming up and issue a few
Idle
Speedy.
comments or just give the other opposition
players a bit of a ref. But any stories about intimidating
players or teammates that we've played with?
He was one of the best, Ciro, and intimidating players. But he could go on with it too, though.
He was like when me and Scotty and all that were coming through, mate, he was like a bodyguard. no one was even allowed to
The protector.
come near us. But like, we were blessed with guys like that, like Toddy Mathers, Barry Laurie, Gary Eason, Matty Lambert, Munko, Killer, Glenn Morgan.
No one was allowed to touch the young blokes back then.
Yeah, and it was crazy. I ran onto the field. I think it was either the first or second game. I think I'd played and ran onto the field, and I think I even got scared myself. I think I seen Ciro run over this guy and said, and the guy's got, I haven't even done anything. And the ball hadn't even been kicked off. But that was just Ciro, mate. He was good. He was just hard as they were. Like everyone was.
Best players played within those years, fellas. The 94, 95.
5 undefeated years and the premiership winning 2004 side.
Favourite teammates.
I'd have to say these blokes for sure. Me.
Any records set that year or those years?
Other than being undefeated for a couple of years.
94, 94, 95. I think we went 38 games. I'm pretty sure it was undefeated with Tut, which is crazy.
Long time.
We had a little skinny kid that could play a little bit that didn't end up going too bad.
Which one's that? Mate, there was some
Scotty
good.
Hill.
We had some, yeah. Like I
Ended
said,
up
me, Stalls,
making a fair career.
and Scotty played all our junior footy coming together, and Stalls got shipped around a bit because Dad worked in the banks and stuff like that. So probably 94 was probably disappointing one because he wasn't out. Were you living in Albury then?
Yeah, I went down to Riverina for 94, 95 and unfortunately missed out on those 2 years of Tuddy and playing with you blokes. But yeah, come back in 96. So, yeah, it was a shame to miss out on. But
Had to play under a dodgy coach when you come back.
yeah, 96 was a pretty average coach and stuff.
94, 95, and then you just get let down 96.
Poor bastard.
Um,
Yeah, no, some great players in them teams though, like say, yeah, blokes like Toddy Mathers, Dukes, reserve grade coach,
reserve
played
grade
hooker.
coach.
Actually in the grand final too. I can remember this. He
That's right.
first scrum we
The
packed
hooker.
down, and all of a sudden there's a scrum packed down, and then the scrum's just broken out, and all of a sudden the opposition hooker, Warhope hooker's just laying on the ground, knocked out.
Yeah,
We said, "What's?"
sleep.
No one had any idea what had happened. The Dukes had given him the old uppercut and
Dukes had
cleanly
just
knocked him out
dropped
first
him.
scrum.
This Wardy knockout, isn't it?
That was
Dukes
good.
knocked him out, and then Barry Loring knocked out, who was old mate? The bald head 5'8", the coach.
Oh, the coach, yeah, what was his name?
Did not miss him. I was probably lucky to come through a few different eras of toughness in the footy, and like back then, mate, it was every tackle you just know about it, and then 2004 was sort of when you sort of started getting a few quicker blokes. Benny Holden, mate, he could run. We nearly broke the record that year for tries. I think he scored 35 or something. And then
Outside him, he had a pretty handy player that
Still playing now. Des Donnelly.
Was Des on the ding-a-ling then, wasn't he?
Des-
Des was on the ding-a-ling in 2004.
And I didn't realise Benny Gamble played too on the wing. Like he played in 98.
Yeah.
He scored a couple of tries in the grand final.
With the
98.
club. We're pretty blessed with speed in those years.
He can run, old Benny.
couldn't he?
Yeah, Benny Holden stood out to me in 2004, obviously with his record. I think it was 38, I think. But I think he scored more tries in the grand final than I did all year.
Mate, it was
And I was the opposite centre.
that grand final was great. That was the first one I think we'd had where they took all the grand finals away from Jack Neal.
Yeah,
so
it
we
was,
had first grand final at Foster.
So
And that was-
2003 was they brought in the rule and Wingham won for
first, and we lost out there.
Yeah, we got rorted that.
And then the next
year in 2004.
That was when
made sure-
Munko coached, wasn't it?
Yeah, Munko coach.
made sure we won.
won the semi-final, the major semi-final, got to host the grand final.
And then, mate, it was.
And you just played Wingham in the grand final too, didn't you?
Played Wingham there.
Smashed
It was probably the most perfect game of footy ever. I think everything that happened in the game for us just happened. 50 to 6, I think we got them.
Yep.
It was great. I remember just driving to the ground in those days. Big event, having it at home, and everyone, they had all coaches up around the ground, and on the way in they had your names up on the billboards and everything.
Yeah.
And they had a big spread in the paper, and
Because
Another bloke that comes to mind that year too to me was Finney. I thought. Played
Yeah,
well
Matty
for us,
Finlayson.
outstanding.
Who did we have there? We had Felshie, we had Bergie, Munko
Yeah.
played,
Aldo.
Aldo, Tan
Most of
Aldridge.
the I think like 90% of the side had NRL experience. Or played in Sydney to some extent. So.
And good to see like a local bloke coaching like Chubbs. There's not many local blokes
One
who've
comp.
won comps with Foster from actually Foster, so that was good.
Yeah, it was
See
awesome.
Chubbsy coaching and get a win up.
Chubbsy was great that year. Always had a lot of respect for Chubbsy, but just his little technical stuff. He he's such a great guy all around, really. Wasn't he, Chubbsy?
Yeah, he was
respected
good.
everyone. And,
Brought the best out in me. For some reason, he thought I could be a captain, and
He must have been drinking. That
yeah, he
night.
had to have been drinking. I don't know what's happened there.
And Chubbs again played in '95 too. So yeah, when we won. So
A couple of similar themes there, lads. There's seems
Seems to be the same theme through the
the successful seasons where the core group of the side is always the local
blokes that are,
has to
and
be.
then also if they're blokes that have been brought in to play
for the club. They seem to hang around and
Yeah.
don't leave.
It's just how it was back then. Like everyone, like even if they finish school and stuff like that, they always defer uni or something, and then they just stay. I
Want
wouldn't
to play.
say specifically just to play for the Hawks, but it's just how it always ended up happening. And we'd always end up with a good side. We were just always competitive, and
94, 95, we were pretty lucky too. We obviously had Toddy Maters, best player in the North Coast, and but we had a bloke Dean Smith just come from out of town, come in, and he was pretty good too, big and mobile.
you got Player of the Year that year, didn't you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we were
Good through part of the
fortunate
year.
in 2004. Blessed to have one of the characters of the side.
moved to town that year, Luke Felsh.
Felsh, fingers.
Had a great fashion sense, I believe. We were on the drink.
Whitest human I've ever met.
Well, he didn't like fashion much because he used to take it off all the time. He used to get his gear off.
That's
And
why I
actually,
didn't
that was
know why he was-
I think the first time I met him was when we did the thing out at Yagan, the camp thing, and I met Felsh and they said, "Oh, he's a bank bloke," and you see him just normally, he's nice and quiet and that, but man, get a few drinks into him.
Next man is nude.
Yeah.
He's really his nude shaking the our way. Luke Felsh.
Was
Bloody oath.
We're catching up on the weekend to celebrate these.
good times. Remember some funny stories. I'll probably talk
Talk about some times or increase how good we were or what we used to
be able to do.
Yeah.
I also remember some teammates that are no longer with us.
sadly.
You know, it's going to be good to catch up with a few blokes you don't get to see very often, and good nucleus of good blokes. So should be a good
And
day.
why the Hawks, fellas? Why rugby league? Why the Hawks when years were coming through?
What was so enjoyable about your time?
You go first, mate.
Mate, it was just the club to beat. Like I said, I was lucky enough to come through a few different eras. And like 94, 95, sort of through the 90s, everything, like there was even Saturday comp footy going. You had Foster Dragons and no one really wanted anything doing. It was just a Hawks town. It just always was. And footy Saturday and Sundays was just, God, it was like going to church, mate. You just didn't miss it. Everyone went.
Yep.
Talked
about the players and
the good coaches and good committees, good people running the club, the
great lock, Bobby winners.
Footy.
the Gary Adams.
And always the Hawks used to always struggle to like raise a bit of money, but the committees that used to bust their backside every Saturday and doing raffles and stuff like that. So
Sure.
you don't have a good club unless you got good committees at the top, I think. So we had that back then. But again, everyone sort of got in and helped out, which was really good. Yeah, like good functions. Like I said, we had pub crawls and so
Inclusivity.
Yep, it was real good.
Thanks for your time, boys.
Thanks,
Let's have a
Dino.
couple of beers on the weekend.
For sure.
Remember some
Thanks,
fun
mate.
times.
Thanks, mate.
That was so good.
I reckon we start a podcast.
What are we going to call it? The Three Bald Men.